First, we will stand for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. As we do in most of our meetings, I'm going to ask for a moment of silence for our recently departed neighbors, friends, and for those suffering around the world. Moment of silence, please. Okay, thank you. So tonight's meeting deals with the operational budget. And I just wanted to explain a couple of things about what that actually means. So there are several budgets that we have in the HOA. Operational budget means what you're going to be spending in this particular year coming up in 2025. Then there's a capital replacement fund. And then there's a deferred maintenance fund, but that's going to change for next year because of CAI requirements. But pretty much there's a couple of different buckets that we have money in. The operational budget is what we do to pay the gas, the electric, our insurance, pay for the pool, to pay whatever we need to do for the volleyball courts or bocce courts, this, that, and the other. So that's the operational budget. And that's what goes into constructing what the HOA fee is. Okay? So a lot of things are done by the finance committee. And they look at past history, they look at run rates for this year for 9 months, then they look at it for 10 months, and then they predict what's going to happen in the last 2 months. And they say, this is how we're going to end up this year, so let's predict what's going to happen next year. And that's how this HOA fee is derived. So a simple number to remember whenever we talk about anything. For every $11,000 of expense that we incur, it means $1 that goes into the HOA fee. So if we get an increase of $100,000, let's say $110,000 from this year to next year, the HOA fee goes up $10 every month for everybody all around. So the problem always is things never get cheaper, things get more expensive. So that impact, along with doing things like redoing our bylaws or our restrictive documents, redoing our bylaws, which have not been addressed since the year 2006, we incur additional expenses now because really it should have been worked on maybe piecemeal at a time. But after 18 years, I think it's time that we redo our documents.
So want to wait for 1 year?
No. So, at this point, I just want to bring to your attention, there are 4 board members here and 1 missing. 4 board members represent a quorum that things can be voted on by the board. So, after the presentation, the board will vote to accept the budget. So I'm going to turn it over to the finance people, and Bill Cohen heads up the finance committee, and he will explain the numbers. And then I'll come back up, and then we'll have a question and answer period because there's going to be questions. Okay? And we're going to do our best to air it all out so that everyone walks away understanding. All right, we'll turn it over to Bill.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, first of all, I think that the board, the finance committee, the property manager, all should be congratulated because all of us spent hours trying to construct this budget and trying to get it to the lowest possible number that made conservative financial sense. So they should all be congratulated. Unfortunately, the numbers are not very favorable. The increase from 24 to 25 will be $24 per month. okay? And let me explain to you the 4 items that contribute. First of all, we're projecting lower income in 2025. We had fewer home sales than we budgeted in 2024, and therefore decreased the amount expected in 2025. That's $14,000 right there. We had a surplus at the end of 2023 into 2024 of 120,000, and now we have a deficit at the end of this year of 33,000. So that's a $128,000 difference between 2024 and 2025. So those two combined is 142,000 less income.
Divided by 11.
And if you divide it by 11, that's about $14.
Is that on his paper?
Then on the expense side, we had legal fees that were $36,000 more than we budgeted. We have been running a budget of about $12,000. This year, we were at $46,000. And next year, we're projecting $48,000 because we still have the same documents to go over the bylaws and things like that. Okay, so the next thing is insurance. I know the board has talked about insurance, and unfortunately, we had almost 100% increase in our insurance. That cost us $57,000 more than we budgeted in 2024. Okay, and then the last major item is good news and bad news. We earned more than we expected, but therefore we had to pay taxes on what we earned because that's earned income. So that was about $12,000. So if you take the lower income of 142, the legal fees of 36, the insurance of 57, and the extra taxes of 12, you get somewhere around $247,000 increase, which is $22.50 of the 24. The rest is miscellaneous throughout the budget. And let me go and talk a little about what happened with the surplus to the deficit. Okay? I said before we had fewer home sales in the budget next year. Well, the actuals for this year are lower also. So that is, our projection is we're going to be 17 under budget with 17,000 under budget with the sales we're expecting. Then the township did not reimburse us the full amount we had budgeted for leaf-free reimbursement. That's $5,000. Legal fees, which we talked about going into the budget, also this year exceeded the budget by $34,000. Then we had the township, in its infinite wisdom, telling us that they would not reimburse us for snow because we only had 2.75 inches of snow instead of the 3 inches that they put as a starting point. That cost us $57,000 this year. Okay? And then trash reimbursement, which is a crapshoot. The township is supposed to reimburse us for trash, and we have had all kinds of problems with the township putting a cap on how much money we get back, and it's like a sliding scale that nobody can figure out. We didn't get 2023 reimbursement number until August of this year. We still don't know what 2024 numbers are and have no idea what 2025 numbers are. But for this budget, for 2024, it's costing us $26,000. So if you take that surplus to deficit of leaf reimbursement, snow, and trash, you're talking about that the township cost us about $88,000, which
It's $8 a month
$8 a month,
of the 24 years.
okay? Can we get it back? It's like fighting City Hall. And we've tried. We have tried with our lawyers, we've tried everything. Right now, the township doesn't think they owe us anything. So, those are the two things that have contributed to this large increase. As I said, the budget going next year and the surplus going to a deficit. So with that, Michael?
Okay, so obviously this is not great news. And when you talk about a $24 increase, to me that's substantial. Let's just say it, right? If the township did not screw us out of $88,000, this increase would have been $16. Maybe a little high. Our insurance went up $50,000. That's another $5. You take all that away, the increase should have been around $11 a month, which I think we would all understand in the economy. But it got compounded by these other components, as Bill has stated. Who knew that we were going to be dropped by our insurance carrier? $50,000 worth, $5 a month penalty right there for everybody. So this is, I get agita just thinking about it. I live here like you. I pay the bills like you, but I'm not concerned about me. The board is not concerned about the person who can afford it. The board is concerned about the people who this is going to impact very significantly. And there's nothing we can do. Now, I will say this. The board decreased the expenses on the pool by $25,000 by switching to another company. The board knows that we're going to get at least $5,000 back from the leaf collection because, and I'm not speaking bad of the company, but I will tell you, Turfmaster never did the submission to the town the way they were supposed to. I think they're a good company, but they didn't do that. That's $5,000, so $25,000 for the pool, $5,000 for the leaves, and there's another $55,000 that we reduced the budget. Had we not done that, this number would have been well in the 30s. Now, I'm not looking for a pat on the back. I'm sick about the increase. Everyone on the board is sick about it. But this should have been a reasonable increase of $15 or $16 or $11 to $15. And for the reasons that Bill said, it's a combination of perfect storm, we'll say, perfect bad storm. So I don't know what else we can go. We handed out the numbers so you can see what our run rate is. Things like legal fees, we had to beef that up again because our run rate this year is significant. We can't put less than we did this year. I mean, that would be not responsible. We can't say we're going to sell more houses than we sold this year. That would not be responsible. But all of this works against it. I don't know what else to say about that. Now, we're going to do a question and answer period. Now, the microphones are out like they are for open board meetings. Not a problem. But here's what happens at this point. I like to explain what the process is. The board is going to vote to approve this. We have 4 board members. It will be recorded. It's going to be in the minutes. And the board is going to approve this budget tonight. And I'll tell you why. Because this increase is gonna happen on January 1st. So everyone needs to know it's done. It's done. It's only fair to give you the information as quickly as possible for you to understand and also to prepare for the increase. Now, I don't have anything else to say, but we're here to answer questions. So if you'd come up to the mic, state your name and your address, all the questions you want.
We should do a motion for the approval now.
Yeah, we're gonna do it after. We'll do it after. We're gonna close with the motion to approve the budget, but people need to ask questions and understand it. Name and address, please.
Phil Lucas.
Is that on?
Step up. Turn it on.
There's a switch. Yeah, I see the green light.
Okay. Phil Lucas, 3314 Deep River Lane.
You have the floor. Go.
Thank you. The savings from the township picking up the garbage
Yeah,
instead of paying for it,
right.
is that going to offset the increase in insurance costs that we have incurred now?
Is it gonna offset it? We are planning for next year for 1 quarter to use waste management. And on April 1st, and I don't like to play April Fool jokes on anybody, it's not. On April 1st, we are going to start with the township collecting the garbage. That in itself will save us $55,000 next year. Could you imagine if we had to add another $5 to the 24? So we have to do something to impact this and lower it as best as possible. So the answer is yes. The $55 reduction, $55,000 reduction is switching to the township, collecting the garbage, which by the way, we're all paying in our taxes anyway. Okay?
So projecting then that 55 for a whole year, we would be saving about $100,000.
You know what, I'm gonna say conservatively, because Waste Management has already come to the table and said we want a 7.5% increase for the next 3 years each year.
Correct.
So when you compound that, it's more like 25% at the end of the 3 years, 26%.
Right.
So we have to beat them to the chase on this because we can't have them charge us more money. The township is only reimbursing us this, and Waste Management is charging us this. The gap will get more significant every year. Does that answer your question?
Well, my point of all this was that the cost of the insurance increase is, in the long term, going to be partially offset by the savings in the garbage collection.
Yeah, I would say it this way. If we didn't do the garbage, we would have had more of an HOA fee per month. So it is offsetting it. This number could have been 30-something.
Yeah.
It can't be 30-something. You know, that's, you know.
Thank you.
All right. Ronnie, name and you're taking the floor away from him, and name and address, please.
Ronnie Santone, 3295 Springer.
You have the floor, Ronnie.
I have a question.
Shoot.
Our roads were not done
No.
up on the hill.
Right.
What's going to happen, Mike, when our roads get done?
So the plan right now, and the board has agreed to this, we're not doing it in 2025. We're planning on doing it in 2026. We're trying to recoup more of the money in our reserve. Had we done the roads this year, our reserve would have fell below $2 million. We don't want that. So by waiting an extra year, we will recoup, I'm going to turn to Bill, I think it's $420,000 worth of money will go into that pot, which will increase it. And then, so the plan right now is no for 25, and we're hoping in 26. That's the plan.
Okay, you're hoping, but
I
the
don't
roads
know.
down below
Yeah.
got done.
Yes, they have.
We didn't get done, and I'm afraid I'm one of these people now that's a widow on one income. $24 a month
I understand.
is a big jump.
Ronnie, my heart,
It's not you.
I know.
It's just
it is a fact.
what else is gonna keep coming that,
The roads don't impact the HOA as you think. The roads come out of the capital improvement or deferred maintenance bucket. What we're talking about, the $24, is operational expense. Is that
Comes
right?
out of the reserve account.
That comes out of the reserve account, not the operational budget. Whenever we do the roads, it does not come out. You don't pay for that. All the improvements we made this year are not adding to the HOA.
Okay,
So we're gonna try to wait another year, and there's plenty of people that live on Vicari and the side roads, including myself and Mary, and probably a whole bunch of people. Vicari's very big. And yes, we're waiting another year. We gotta try to recoup money. Bill's gonna clarify, because sometimes.
Okay, whoops, okay. The roads and capital improvements we have, and if you look at page 6 of that handout, it describes the funds that we have. One of the funds is an R&R reserve, and that's where the roads come out of. Of your maintenance fee, about 25% goes into that fund. That is not increasing this year. Everything that's increasing is in the operating fund. So what Mike was saying, by having that money, we will get another $450,000 into that fund, which will give us money to do the roads, which has been estimated at about $1.5 million just for what's not done so far.
but my concern is that not next year, but the year after, will you then say, well, gee, we don't have the money, or we're gonna raise our maintenance and our roads are not going to get done?
I hear what you're saying, but what Bill's saying is 25, let's make this easy, $200 a month. 25% of that, 1/4 of that, $50 that you pay every month goes into this account, building interest while it's there. And that has not increased at all. We're charging the same amount that's going into this account.
Okay,
Okay, so it sits there in an account and it makes interest, which we pay taxes on, which is another interesting thing. So that money will go in there, and can I guarantee you that in 2026 the roads will be done in front of my house and yours? I can say the plan is to do it. I can't guarantee anything.
right, I
Just,
get that.
just like this building was rotted out. I don't know. But the plan is 2026 to do it. Because every year you wait, the price of the
Goes
material goes up,
Yes,
and the price of the workers goes up.
goes up. Yes.
So who's got the crystal ball? I mean, maybe oil will come down in price.
I get that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
since I moved here, Mike, in 18, we've gone up now $60 a month. That's a big
I
jump.
hear you. I hear you.
Maintenance, so.
I would say, and Bill goes to more of the CAI meetings, and he came to one today. I would ask you, you have friends in other developments? I will tell you that chances are theirs are going up $11 or $15 a month as well. You know, everything is relative. It hurts here because you're paying it, but this is what's out there right now. And again, the township of $88,000 and the insurance going up $50,000, that's $13 a month.
And even, this isn't gonna help either, but I will tell you that we are probably the lowest of all the communities in the area, even with this raise, okay? So you can check that out with your friends as well. With like amenities, we are probably the lowest in the area.
Does that help you in your pocket? No.
No, not at
It's
all.
just a reality check. Right.
Just me. Jillian Greenberg, 2931 Crestview.
You have the floor.
Thank you. My question is, and it's not to take away from people that need it, but we have a courtesy bus that is costing us next year, or budgeted for $32,000.
Yes.
That, from what I understand, only about 7 people use. Do we get a say in if there is anything less expensive, or the fact that Tom's River offers a free bus, should, reservations be made? Does
Alright.
anything like that come into the possibility?
So the number is actually 11. Only
11
because I met 11 people that use the service. not that 11 is so much bigger than 7, it's not.
Right.
And it is $32,000, yes, you're right. And we're in the middle of a 3-year contract, this is year 2. And right now, the board has not discussed, and maybe we can, whether we need to terminate that to save $30,000.
Okay.
You know,
No, if you're
listen,
in the
we
middle
look
of
at
the
a lot of
contract,
things, we look at a lot of things, and, you know, saving $25,000 on the pool was like a slam dunk. You know, we're trying not to impact people as much as we can. Now, I
Understood.
also want to tell you, switching to the township garbage is not an easy task for anyone. You have to keep your garbage, instead of 2 collections a week, it's 1. Instead of recyclable every week, it's every other. And I'm going to tell full transparency, you know who's paying for the cans for your house? We are. You are. I am. So we have to do this to get ahead of the curve, because trash, not to know right now what the township is reimbursing us for this year in December, they could turn around and lower that another $10 a house. I mean, we're not in control of this. We can't be in that position. And that's why the trash, and we'll have a town hall meeting on that. The township is coming to explain the program. But this is the reality, and other developments are switching and have switched. I'm sorry, I cut you off, sorry.
Yes, you did.
I'm sorry.
I just want to thank you all. I can't imagine the hours, the work, and the effort that you all put into this. So
Please state your name and address.
Good evening, my name is Anthony Michael, 2365 Braddock Road.
Anthony, you have the floor.
Just a very simple question.
Shoot.
Last year there was a surplus, am I correct?
Yes.
We have a reserve fund at this point in time, am I correct?
We have a contingency fund that has money in it, yes.
My question is, how are those funds utilized? Are they in a checking account, a bank account, treasury bonds, or are they just sitting there?
I'm gonna turn it to Bill.
All of our funds are either in money market, CDs, etc. None of it is just sitting there. We earn interest on it. This past year or two, we've been in the 5 and 6% range earning
Now,
money.
5 and 6%, is it annual percentage rise, or is it just regular APY, and when you take the money out, it's less than that
No, it's earning it every month.
every month? So if it's 5 or 6%, it would be for a year. But if it's only for a month or so, it's a percentage of that, am I correct?
Correct.
So we have funds that are allocated for CDs and they're staggered as they mature. So it might be a 7-month term, it may be a 9-month term. And we generally don't cut that term short because there could be penalty or you're not getting the full amount, the 5% or whatever. So the investments, and I'm gonna say this, I didn't even know this. Not a week goes by that the finance department here, that our committee, doesn't review with our brokers how things are going. Not a week goes by. And sometimes twice a week, they say, what's happening here, what's happening there, how can we maximize our money? So that's something that people don't realize, but you have the floor still.
You've answered my question, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. My name is Mike McGough. I live at 3152 Dellen Court.
Mike, you have the floor.
I'm living in Lake Ridge coming up on 28 years. I don't know anybody anymore. I'm very old time. But we moved here 28 years ago. The monthly maintenance was $79 a month. Now it's doubled today. I don't think anybody can say that anything we buy today has not doubled and tripled in the last 28 years. So we know a lot of friends that live in other developments. You mentioned it. And let me tell you, when they come into Lake Ridge, they realize that we have a very nice community here. and it is very well maintained, and I give all you guys and everybody that worked, the volunteers, credit. This Lake Ridge is a very nice run development. And as far as the maintenance going up, everything goes up. Nobody likes to see their bills go up, but when you move in, when you retire, I know I did, you plan for, if you're still alive, 10, 20 years down the road, and you plan your budget for that. I know we did, and I know accountant. But we live in a very nice development, and I think we should not complain about a couple of more dollars. To maintain the services we got very good services here. We're very happy here. I hope I'm around for another 20 years. But anyway. One thing I want to mention, I walk twice a day in Lake Ridge. There's a couple of up on the hill, the footpath, the roots of the trees, the blacktop. It's gone very dangerous in a couple of spots. It's buckled away up. I know it's there, I step over it, but I'm there, going to pass it every day. But it can be very dangerous. I just want to let you know that it's up on the hill as you go around the circle. I call it the circle. There's a couple of places where it's dangerous. It's buckled away.
But the roots have done a number on the path, yes.
That's it. We should be very happy in Lake Ridge. Like I say, we have people coming in visiting from other communities. They're paying a lot more there. And let me tell you, they don't have a community that we've got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Cassandra Keys, 3511.
You have the floor.
Thank you. In the community utilities, 29,400. I have a light in front of my house that blinks and goes out a lot. So who do I need to communicate that to since we're paying for this?
The office, Alyssa in particular, calls up. JCP&O is responsible for fixing the lights.
Mhm.
Are they responsive? Not necessarily.
Okay.
But Alyssa can, if you can check with her, she can tell you how many times she's called them, and they're months behind.
Okay.
Yeah, and their recent excuse, as Ed said in his grounds report, is that they sent help for the relief,
Right.
for disaster
Relief
relief,
efforts
so they're
against
very
that.
short-handed. But
You
if
can wait
you
till
do
the
report
new
a
year
light, we just need the pole number and the house that it's closest to, and I can have it.
It's in front of my house.
Perfect.
And what's the pole, where would I find the pole number
It's
at?
on the pole, it's on the
It's on the
polar
pole.
numbers.
It's a big number, they require.
Okay.
Kevin Langen, 2610 Middle Lake.
Kevin, you have the floor.
Can you explain to me how we spent $57,000 in snow removal?
Yes, it's snow removal and also salting. We didn't get reimbursed for either. So the snow, I think, was something like $42,000, because normally the township would pay for that. And that was to remove, it was a Friday night that over 3 inches fell. And the bill to remove that was $42,000, and we salted after that, and the township did not reimburse us. And the weekend, 2 weekends before that, we plowed the parking lot in front of the clubhouse and in the back, because there were 3 events, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday. And we felt, the board felt, and made a decision, it wasn't safe for those 3 events to run without plowing them. So when you add the plowing of those parking lots, you add the plowing of the whole development, where the township said it wasn't 3 inches, and the salting for both of those occasions, it amounted to $57,000. Normally, we would have gotten money back from the township.
Can I ask one other question?
Should,
You just mentioned a couple of minutes ago that the new garbage receptacles
yes,
are going to be paid by us.
yes. Because the township no longer offers free receptacles. If you went back 4 years ago, they offered free receptacles to anyone who moved into the town. And they no longer do that. Greenbrier Woodlands is 2 years ahead of us in this program, and they had to pay for their garbage pails as well.
Yet I checked with Greenbrier Woodlands, and I was under the impression that the township supplied them with receptacles.
What happened there was the township owed them money, and they swapped.
Okay.
That's what happened there. We went and we discussed it with them. So it may not have been what it looked like, but the township owed them $150,000. And they said, instead of us giving you that money, how about we trade you and we give you garbage cans?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do I have to say it again?
Yes,
Joanne Greenberg, 2931 Crestview Lane.
Joanne, you have the floor.
Okay, I have wonderful neighbors. They walk regularly. And one of them came to me, I wasn't going to bring it up until we had regular meeting. One of them came to me and said they have almost tripped several times because of what Mike spoke about with the gaps. They're not asking to have it fixed because they remember the slip and falls in the insurance meeting, but they're asking if it could have a bright paint of some kind, just put across it so that people are made aware when they walk that they don't have
That's
that
very
problem.
reasonable.
Yeah.
We can make it happen.
Jolene Casano, 2398 Torrington.
Jolene, you have the floor.
To just expand on the trash, you said that Greenbrier Woodlands swapped.
Mommy, is that where all of them?
Are you still looking to get money? You said earlier that you don't know what you're getting for trash reimbursement.
Okay,
Is
so
there
the
gonna be a
township
swap
said,
option here?
the township said, we owe you nothing.
But didn't you say you don't know what the figure is for
And
2020?
they said, we've maxed out for the years 2022 and 2023, and we owe you nothing. And they've paid us to date for 2024, but we may not get the last quarter, because we may have maxed out on a rate they haven't shared.
By our records, they owe us money. By them, they owe us nothing.
So you're not pursuing it anymore?
Oh,
'Cause
we
this is
are.
through the lawyer.
We are
pursued it
pursuing
with our
it.
lawyers.
Okay, so it's not dead yet?
Correct.
Okay.
And you can't count on something that, the township, it's not in your pocket, so don't count on it,
Right, I'm just proposing a
No,
swap.
I
if
wish,
you get it.
I wish.
We offered,
The garbage cans.
we offered that when we were talking about the garbage, and they said, well, we don't owe you anything, so there is no swap. So,
And the cans are 161?
100, latest number, 2 cans, $135. If you go to Home Depot and get a 64-gallon thing, and I did this, it's $98 just for 1 can. Because they're huge cans. They're 43.5 inches high, 24.5 inches wide, and 27 inches deep with the handle.
And if our cans have that little grip in the front, we can't use it?
No. It's not compatible with their machine. They won't be responsible.
Ron is Santone, 3295 Springer.
You have
I
the
have a
floor.
question.
Yeah, okay.
These garbage cans, Mike, are very big.
Yes, they are.
I have a one-car garage.
Yes, you do.
Where do you want me to keep the 2 cans?
And that's why we're doing the 2 town hall meetings, and Ed is actually heading up this. And I will tell you, Greenbrier Woodlands has given us schematics of 1-car garages and 2-car garages, and their ARC committee has recommended where it can go. Now, you may have shelves on the wall,
Yeah.
you may have counters on the floor, you may have all of that, and then it could be a problem. I'm going to say in Ashford, which is one that I measured myself, my neighbor has an Ashford, it's 21 feet long, which is longer than what a Lake Ridge 1 or 2 has.
But
And
not wide.
the person 2 doors away from me, Pam Richmond, I went in her garage, and you've never seen such a clean garage. She's not going to have a problem. But the average person could have a problem, yes. So that means that you're going to have to clean out a section of your garage.
So there wouldn't come a time you would let us have the can outside?
No, not at this time, no. Only good news tonight, right? Any other questions? Come to the mic, please. We're here for as long as you like.
I just want, which one besides the can, 64?
64 gallons.
I have a 32 gallon, would that be?
Can't use it.
And it's gotta be township cans. So if you have a waste management can or whatever, can't use it.
And I'm gonna tell you this, the cans stay with the house. If you sell your house, it stays with the house. This is from the township.
The good news, if you want to call it that, is the township will pick up the old cans and take them away.
And also they have,
And then resell them probably.
and also, if your garbage can has a lifetime warranty once you buy it. So if they destroy 3 of them, you get 3 new ones. So, I mean, I think that's a little bit better. Now, waste management, if they crush your can, they generally, give you the money for the can. They do, now. So, they're not offering, the township is not offering anything more so than waste management is doing now. But, again, full disclosure, this is the township's contract that Lake Ridge has to sign. Name and address.
Okay, before you indicated that,
Right, Phil, I know you went up before, and I'm gonna say you have the floor. Okay.
that we are relatively low in comparison to other communities. Can you give us some idea of the approximate range of these other communities for the monthly or quarterly fees?
I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna defer that for the open board meeting, so we can do more homework. But I'm gonna tell you, I called upon a couple of friends. I don't have a lot of friends in other developments, so you might wanna find out for yourself, because that's worth more than me giving it to you, okay? But I do know that as high as $270, $280 is not an uncommon number. Now, some of them may have golf courses, and then you're talking 300.
Right, I'm thinking more specifically about Renaissance and Fairways and how they compare to us in overall quality of life.
Well, we're gonna try to get those Fairways and Renaissance. Fairways will be relatively easy to get the number. Renaissance is not under Taylor management that I know of, but Fairways is. We can get that number in a heartbeat, and I'd be more than willing to share that number. Now, I want to just preface this. In those communities, they may not have heard about the increase for next year yet. Here we are December 3rd, and they may be finding out on December 15th. So take it with a grain of salt. The number that we'll quote will be to our best knowledge at the time, if they want to share what their increase is. But listen, I ask each of you, you have friends in other developments, you can find out. But we will, Renaissance and Fairways, we're gonna do it, all right?
I'm confident that it's a lot more than ours.
We'll find out. I believe you're right. How we doing? Anybody else have a question? Okay, so at this point, the quorum is established for the board, which is 4 members. And the board is going to vote now in front of you and on recording that we're accepting the budget. So we need a motion. Mary,
I want to be the person that does it.
as treasurer, Mary, you need to make a motion to accept the budget, please.
Okay, all right. I'd like to, no, I don't like to. I will like to make a you can't hear me? Okay, is this better, Terry? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept the budget as stated for 2025.
All right, we need a second.
I second it.
Okay, all those board members in favor of approving the proposed budget, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed state nay. The ayes have it, the motion is approved and passed. If there's no other questions at this point, I'm going to be around for a few minutes. If anyone wants to come up and talk, ask. Bill will be around. And is it. I'd like to wish you all happy holidays coming up if I don't see you at the open board meeting. And have a good night. Get home safe.
Good night.